Top of it. Peace, peace. Abdul Abib back at it with Black Movie Showcase. Gotta show you another one from way back when. This will be Tales from the Hood, 1995. Let's check out some trailers and see what some people have to say about this movie. Me personally, this was definitely a childhood classic. Back in the 90s, I remember watching this and already seeing the connotations within race and trauma within America, and even a lot of the deeply rooted issues in the community, such as even ourselves hurting ourselves, such as the story of Crazy K. I don't give a F. I don't give a F. All right. Definitely was a ride back in the day seeing this movie coming up. Definitely made me a big fan of black horror movies. And shout out to Jordan Peele and another dude that made Sinners. Okay, let's check this out.
Let's roll. In this neighborhood is the house where souls never rest. You're invited to share their secrets. I've been waiting for you boys. You're invited to share their tales. Yes, of course. You're scared. Tales of madness. Of revenge. The gods don't want you there. They want reparation. Of horror.
He thinks he needs to kill the monster.
Now, your most terrifying night.
Those one reparations is crazy. Let's see who made this.
And your most frightening reality are about to meet on the streets.
This is a trip, homie. I don't need nothing from no house of dead folks, okay?
Death, it comes in many strange packages. The producer of Menace to Society and executive producer Spike Lee will take you to the outer limits of the inner city.
It's like, oh, this shit. You're gonna be knee deep in some shit by the time I'm done.
See, like little black shit like that is it's hilarious to incorporate that
Tales from the hood. You or beat you.
Hey, man, I don't need to be hearing this, man.
Written and produced by Darren.
Word, look at that lineup right there. Joe Torre was up in there. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know about Joe Torre, man. You know it's a good one. Check out some of this. Bontent 15 weird facts about Tales from the Hood. This is brought to you by the Flashback Room. All right, shout outs to them. I don't know what's gonna be on here. We're gonna check this thing out.
Kaboom, got my fro, you heard? You want some shit? You gonna be knee deep in some shit in about 5 seconds, nigga.
So great. Stupid.
Parts to a director who cast his own parents and a soundtrack that outsold the movie. Tales from the Hood harbors some genuinely bizarre secrets that even die-hard fans.
Soundtrack was bumping, you heard. And they say cult classics, it don't do as much in movie theaters, more so within time, and it becomes that,
Fans have never heard. Prepare to discover the twisted truth behind one of the 90s most socially conscious horror films. Fact 1. Rosalind Cash's tragic final performance. When Tales from the Hood hit theaters in May of 1995, audiences had no idea they were witnessing the final performance of a truly remarkable actress. Rosalind Cash, who played the mysterious
She was scary and beautiful. She reminded me of my psychology professor back in the Essex County. Word up. Shout out to her. She was a weirdo. She thought I liked her or some weird shit.
Cushing in the film's brutal hardcore convert segment.
Some dreads, word. I like her dreads.
Was already battling cancer during production, though she kept her illness private from most of the cast and crew. Cash had built an impressive career spanning over 3 decades, with her most famous role being the female lead opposite Charlton Heston in the 1971 science fiction classic, The Omega Man. She was also well known to soap opera fans for playing Mary May Ward on General Hospital, from 1994 until her death. Throughout her career, Cash was known for refusing to take stereotypical roles, instead choosing parts that showcased her range and dignity as an actress. In Tales from the Hood, Cash portrayed Dr. Cushing, the sinister scientist who subjects gang member Crazy K to experimental rehabilitation therapy that becomes increasingly nightmarish. Her performance was chilling and authoritative, showing no signs of the illness that was consuming her behind the scenes. The role required her
Very
to
authoritative in that movie. She did an excellent job.
deliver
I think there's
complex
a new
dialogue.
one, Amanda Seals, would be a good for the redo. Shout out to Amanda Seals. Hey, boo boo. Stuff.
About psychological conditioning and violence, which she handled with her characteristic professionalism and intensity. Tragically, Cash died of cancer on October 31st, 1995, just over 5 months after Tales from the Hood was released. The timing was particularly haunting since she passed away on Halloween, making her final horror film role feel almost prophetic. She was only 56 years old and had been posthumously nominated for an Emmy Award for her work on General Hospital. Her death added an unexpected layer of poignancy to Tales from the Hood, as viewers realized they were watching not just a horror performance, but also a final farewell from a talented actress who had spent her career breaking barriers and refusing to compromise her artistic integrity. Fact 2. The cursed film theory. Some horror fans have developed a haunting theory that Tales from the Hood might be cursed, pointing to the tragic deaths of 2 cast members as evidence of supernatural bad luck surrounding the production. While most film scholars dismiss this as coincidence, the timing and circumstances of these deaths have certainly raised eyebrows among superstitious viewers. The curse this, but it gained real momentum 10 years later when Lamont Bentley, who played the violent gang member
Word. They took him out, bro.
Crazy K, died in a horrific car accident in 2005. Bentley was only 31 years old when he lost control
Everybody loved him too. Like, he was actually genuinely funny. There's a lot of interviews about this brother, man.
of his vehicle on Highway 118 in Ventura County, California. His car went through a stop sign, crashed through a chain link fence, and rolled down an embankment, ejecting him onto the freeway where he was struck by at least 5 different vehicles. The tragic irony wasn't lost on fans that Bentley's character in the film was also involved in deadly street violence, leading some to wonder if there was a connection between his fictional fate and his real-life death.
He definitely didn't crash in Tales from the Hood, though. Crashed out.
Online forums and horror movie websites began documenting these deaths as potential evidence of a curse, with some fans
Prop 53 is what voters built. Voters approved an independent commission to create fair election districts. Prop 50 destroys this good work. It's a direct attack on democracy that tears away the power of choice. Protect democracy. No on 50.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words,
drawing parallels to other supposedly cursed films like The Omen or Poltergeist. However, when examined more closely, the curse theory falls apart pretty quickly. The film had dozens of cast and crew members, and losing 2 people over the span of 10 years, while certainly tragic, isn't
You're right. That's just some, yeah, right. If anything, that on Tales from the, now that South Central movie was cursed.
statistically unusual for any large group of people. Director Rusty Cundiff, producer Spike Lee, and stars like Clarence Williams III, David Alan Grier, and Corbin Burnson all went on to have long, healthy careers after the film. Most film historians agree that the curse theory is simply a case of fans looking for supernatural explanations for unfortunate but ultimately random tragedies. Fact 3. Director cast his own parents. In one of the most unusual casting decisions in horror movie history,
That part of the movie was crazy. That was dope. The little kid had power in drawing. I think that was a good concept right there.
director Rusty Cundiff decided to put his own mother and father in front of the camera for the film's most intense segment about racist violence and supernatural revenge. Both John A. Cundiff and Christina Cundiff appear in the KKK Comeuppance story, where racist politician Duke Metger gets his comeuppance from vengeful slave spirits inhabiting voodoo dolls. Christina Kundieff plays Miss Cobbs, the mysterious voodoo witch whose painted portrait dominates Duke Metcher's plantation office and who created the deadly dolls that house the souls of murdered slaves. Even though she doesn't have any speaking lines in the film, her presence is absolutely crucial to the story's supernatural elements. Kundieff later explained that directing his mother was surprisingly easy, saying that she was naturally great at looking appropriately angry and menacing when the camera rolled, despite being an introvert in real life. His father John took on the role of the preacher who delivers the eulogy at the funeral of Rhodey, Duke Metcher's African-American campaign manager who dies after tripping over one of the cursed dolls. According to Kundieff, his father had actually written out an entire sermon for the scene and was nervous about remembering all his lines. The director had to tell him he couldn't use everything he had prepared because it would make the scene too long. And when Kundieff called to action, his father became visibly nervous about performing. The decision to cast his parents wasn't just about convenience or saving money on actors. Kundieff wanted the KKK comeuppance segment to feel deeply personal and rooted in real family history and emotion. Having his actual parents appear in a story about the lingering effects of slavery and racism added an authentic weight to the supernatural horror, making the vengeful spirits feel more like real ancestors seeking justice rather than just movie monsters. Fact 4. Tom Wright's double horror anthology Revenge. Actor Tom Wright holds a unique distinction in horror movie history as one of the few performers to play vengeful ghosts seeking bloody revenge in two completely different anthology films. In Tales from the Hood, Wright portrays Martin Morehouse, the civil rights activist who returns from the dead to punish the corrupt police officers who murdered him, but this wasn't his first time playing a supernatural avenger with a serious grudge. 8 years earlier, in 1987, Wright appeared in Creepshow 2 as the title character in the Hitchhiker segment, where he played a man who gets accidentally killed by a distracted driver and then relentlessly haunts her as she tries to flee the scene of the accident. In that story, Wright's ghostly hitchhiker keeps appearing in increasingly mangled condition, repeatedly telling the guilty driver, "Thanks for the ride, lady," as he pursues her with supernatural persistence. The similarities between Wright's two roles are actually quite striking when you think about them. In both films, he plays victims of vehicular violence who refuse to stay dead, and instead return to terrorize the people responsible for their deaths. Both characters also have a habit of clinging to moving cars during their vengeful pursuits, creating some genuinely terrifying moments as they refuse to let their killers escape justice. What makes Wright's double duty as a vengeful spirit even more interesting is how different the two films are in tone and message. Creepshow 2 was primarily focused on delivering traditional horror scares with dark humor, while Tales from the Hood used its supernatural elements to address serious social issues like police brutality and systemic racism. Despite these different approaches, Wright managed to bring genuine menace and otherworldly presence to both roles, proving that he had a real talent for playing characters who simply wouldn't stay buried and forgotten. Fact 5. Spike Lee's first horror production. For a filmmaker who had already established himself as one of the most important voices in American cinema by 1995, it's surprising that Tales from the Hood marked Spike Lee's very first venture into horror filmmaking as an executive producer. Despite
I did not know that was his first horror movie. You can get this information from the flashback room to go run down with that. So while we look at that, we're gonna look at this right here. We're gonna, of course, look at another trailer of this great movie. This showing y'all, different aspects of it. We ain't gonna be here too long, all right? I know y'all got attention span, y'all got stuff to do. It's Monday. Yeah, that I'm talking about. But yeah, let's see what this is about right here. Hell House of Horror.
Let's roll, In this neighborhood is a house where souls never rest. You're invited to share their secrets.
I've been waiting for you boys.
You're invited to share their tales.
Unless, of course, you're scared.
Tales of madness. Of revenge.
The dolls don't want you there. They want reparation.
Of horror.
He thinks he needs to kill the monster.
Now, your most terrifying nightmare and your most frightening reality are about to meet. On the streets.
Come on. Not them with the white pusheisties on. That's the okay. I see what they doing. The modern day Klansmen. Okay, I got you. I got you, Spike Lee.
This is a trip, homie.
I need nothing from no House of Dead folks, okay?
Death. It comes in many strange packages. The producer of menace to society.
Receiving that they had to do with the fro and the little green windows behind him. That's the called like sequencing or like alluding to something later in the video. He transformed to a demon with wings much farther after that.
And executive producer Spike Lee will take you to the outer limits of the inner city. Welcome to hell! Tales from the hood. Chew. Or be chewed.
Hey, man, I don't need to be hearing this, man.
Written and produced by Darren